Hi all, hope all is well. On today's video, I wanted to give a quick demonstration on how to make a nitrogen-rich leachate, they're called. So leachates are basically nitrogen-rich solutions that you can collect and utilize for the purposes of watering your plants with. So you dilute it down, often 1 part to 10 parts water, and then you can use it to actually enhance the growth of your plants. It's a very good fertilizer and has been used for millennia. So I'm talking, you go back into the 1500s, for example, only 500 years ago, not millennia, but there are plenty of records of what was known as Gong so people that collected waste and human urine and stuff like that, and they'd often process them in setups not that dissimilar from what you're seeing here. This is basically a plastic swimming pool that was just getting left laying around, so I decided to utilize it. And making a nitrogen rich leachate is something that I've been wanting to do for quite some time. This one here is going to be very basic to start with. I'm just going to be using just plain old lawn clippings. Recently the local green solutions place here started charging people to dump their waste, so I'm going to avoid doing that for the time being, and I'll just continue to try and process what I can at home here into a leachate, and then I'll use the leachate to see if I can do some experiments on plant growth. So what I have here, just to show you exactly what's going on here, it looks very simple. It's just basically filled the swimming pool up with grass clippings. You can already see that it's decomposing. It's been in here for a week, but what I did was I scraped up some of the soil here as well, and I mixed a lot of the soil through the lawn clippings. So that's really important, because what it is you're getting all the microbes out of the soil. So what it was, this area here was basically where we put our lawn clippings to begin with, and then over the last 12 months they've broken down, and it's promoted a lot of microbial growth in the soil here, which is the nitrogen fixing bacteria that you're chasing. So it's all good and well just to throw your lawn clippings up into the tub like that and let it process. Basically give it a sprinkling of water, which sort of puts a cap on it, and by putting the cap on it, it promotes a nice temperature below, which actually encourages microbial growth. So as you can see here, we're at 20 degrees on the surface there, 18 degrees, 20 degrees. But if I lift this up and we do a shot from in here, you can see it rapidly goes up. I've seen it go as high as 40, but today's a bit different. There's been a bit of wet weather lately, so a bit more moisture around. So yeah, you can see there we're up to 33, 35. It's quite warm in there, which is perfect. You can actually see the color change in the grass clippings themselves. They start to get a white crystalline substance over them, and that's what you're chasing. See, I'm down the bottom there now. Let's go again here. Yeah, it's at 36. So it's quite warm. The other day, well, there was 38 then. The other day I done it, I got a temperature of 45, 46 degrees, I think it was. But there's two different types of leachates you can produce. One is an aerobic leachate, and one is an anaerobic leachate. The anaerobic leachate is good for producing ammonia, and the aerobic leachate is good for making nitrates, and nitrates are a fantastic fertilizer used in agricultural industries all around the world now. In fact, the fixation of nitrogen is one of the most energy hungry processes on the planet. So if you go to Germany and places like that, where it's done on an industrial scale, in fact it was actually developed in Germany to begin with by Haber-Bosch process, which is a process they use to extract nitrogen from the atmosphere and convert it into ammonia through high pressures. And what's interesting about that process is the fact that the same people that developed it, Fritz Haber, he was also responsible for developing mustard gas in the World Wars. So the man that made mustard gas was responsible in part for killing potentially hundreds of thousands to millions of people in World War. Was also responsible for creating nitrogen fixation, a mechanical version of it, where it could be done in a lab and then done on an industrial scale. He was also responsible for about half the people alive today. So we're at about 8 billion people, and it's thought that half of all the molecules in each of us humans was created artificially. So half of the nitrogen molecules, just to give you an idea. So basically, to say it the other way is, this is an extremely important process to understand. If for any reason there was an interruption in energy supplies or anything like that, and then suddenly the nitrogen fixation process, the mechanical version, the industrial version, could no longer happen due to energy shortages, although I'm sure if there were emergencies, it would be prioritized, because basically put, half the people on the planet would be in the firing line to potentially starve to death in anywhere from 3 months to 6 months, which shows you how important understanding something as simple as breaking down lawn clippings is. It's vitally important. It's not just a little bit important, it's one of the most important chemical reactions that everyone should try and understand. So pretty much with the anaerobic, you'll be producing an ammonia product, but with an aerobic process. An aerobic means basically getting in here and turning it over. You just let the oxygen back into the system, and you can use a rake to do this or whatever you got to do, but it doesn't really matter how it gets done, just as long as it's getting done. And that's exactly what I'm going to do here. We're just going to turn it over. I know it doesn't make for the most exciting video, but it gives me an opportunity to actually get this done while doing something productive on the side. So by turning this over, you can see there's already heavy leachate formation in the bottom here. So there's a fair bit of moisture in there already, and that's purely just from the morning dew that I've been getting here. I haven't never watered it. I've never put water over the top of this. I just let the morning dew do it. So the ocean is about 800 meters from here, 500 meters. And each morning we get a heavy dew that settles over everything. So during the night, the condensation point reaches the dew point, and we get a nice, good dew every morning. So the dew settled over the top of this, which is providing all the moisture I require at this stage. And there's no perfect way to do this. I know there would be scientific calculations in regards to the best times to do it, etc., etc. But you've got to remember, and this is why I got into the scientific process to begin with. I was a bit strapped for cash, and I was looking at all the scientific equipment online, and I'm like, if we need all the scientific equipment to get this job done now, how did the ancients used to do it? And the truth was, the ancients just did it. They didn't spend tens of thousands of dollars on equipment to get something done. They just did it using what they had. And I figured if they could do it, I could do it. And you can do it too. And I encourage people to learn these processes. And we will be growing plants in that soon. That's going to be one of the next steps. Once I develop this leachate, we'll produce some nitrate crystals off it to see how well it crystallizes. That's my ultimate goal, just to see if I can actually achieve it. If I do, it will be a bit of an achievement for myself, something I've been aiming to do for quite some time. And yeah, I look forward to actually having a crack at it. They say this process may take a couple of months to actually achieve though. So you can see there now, we've turned it all over and we should be good to leave it. I don't need to moisten it up or anything. It's quite cloudy here today, so I'm sure we'll get another sprinkle of rain which will cap it. The cap actually seals it up, which is why sometimes, I remember working at a feedlot years ago, I would often drive past the manure piles, and after the rain, they would catch on fire. And the reason for it was because there was no circulation of the gases in the manure pile, and the cap from the rain that it would actually pack it down and seal it up would allow the temperatures internally to get so hot that the manure pile would catch on fire. And from what I witnessed, it was literally hell on earth. It was like Mordor. And I think that's it for this video at this stage. So we've turned it over there. We might do one last little check here. Yeah, so you can see, because I've turned it over now, the whole pile's a lot warmer. I know there's people out there who try to warm their houses using these processes as well. It's basically an energy form that you can utilize to generate some heat, and you can use that heat to keep warm. So there are many different uses of this thermal energy, not geothermal energy, but hot composting they call it. And that's it for this video. Thanks again for watching. If you have any comments, please put them in the comment section below. Please like and subscribe. I appreciate all the support I can get. And until the next video, we'll see you then. Thank you. Bye.